I don't want to call it a rut, but they tend to get stuck in kind of a they tend to get stuck in kind of a they tend to get stuck in, how can I put this? They tend to get stuck in their ways, and they don't want to, they don't want to change. I mean, look at Pokemon, right? Like Pokemon has basically been the same shit over and over again for 8 generations, and they never add anything new to the equation. And when they do take a step in the right direction, they take one step forward, 2 steps back. You know, and Pokemon fans, not all of them, because there are some Pokemon fans like, wait a second, how is the console game of lower quality than the handheld games? But some of them are perfectly happy. Oh, there's only 400 Pokemon. Oh, they took out like a 1.5 Pokedexes. Oh, content that used to be in a base game on cartridges that were smaller in terms of size. I have less content but a bigger cartridge. How does that work? And graphically, like the graphics aren't really that good. Like you would think, oh, you're on a home console now, the graphics are going to be really good. These Pokemon are going to have a lot of animations. No.
Yeah. E- Even I could tell that was a beeping lie.
So, I mean, the thing is that Pokemon is, the Pokemon fans need to understand that these companies are not your friend. They're there to make money. Okay? They they
I was
they
gonna
they
say, even
exist to make
I know
money.
it makes money. I know it makes money. It's just that I thought they used that money for something.
Yes, to pay dividends and make more money. Okay, like they aren't like, and this goes for all of them: Nintendo, Sony, Pokemon, even your favorite restaurant. They exist to make money.
I get that.
Okay, they are not. Okay, if a company like if Nintendo figures out that they don't have to make any real effort and they can just put out some
Mhm.
mediocre shit and people will buy it, I mean, why do you think the Switch is selling gangbusters right now? Nintendo has no incentive to put any real effort out for their products at this point because people will buy it. Same thing with the Pokemon Company. We don't need to put out a quality product because people will buy something that we put out a moderate amount of effort to make. Why should we? We have no incentive to. So that's it's this shit's about money. All right. Any company, and here's the thing. Okay, like I've noticed this about a lot of entertainment companies. Okay, you look at Disney. Like this shit is about if they know that they can sell you nostalgia and lazy nostalgia at that, and people will take it. They don't care. Okay. Like some of the highest grossing movies over the last 5 years have been Disney movies, and Marvel films. And a lot of those Disney movies were fucking live action remakes, lazy ass live action remakes that didn't add anything new to the equation. Okay? So, if people who spend their money aren't saying we want new shit, we want new entertainment, but they just keep on buying the same regurgitated shit and not holding these companies accountable, don't be surprised that you keep on getting shit and regurgitated bullshit. So, anyway, it's kind of started with a short tangent, but before we go any further, let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to be expressed to this midweek podcast. I am Jory Yaman Star, and stocks are down for some people, and some stocks are looking more solid.
Kenoshi?
Yeah, this is Kanashi Abominito here to say glad to be on another one of these casts.
All right, glad to have you. So,
And
no, go ahead.
oh, and also I acquired an iPad 11-inch, and I'm glad I got this instead of the 12, just because the 12 would have been too big.
All right.
Because I've seen 11. Because in the pictures, 11-inch looks a lot a bit smaller. So.
All right. And of course, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, and we're going to dive into it. Join us as we discuss Dragon Quest Quest's 35th anniversary, some of the news that dropped in their thing. It was in Japanese, but it was also subtitled, so you could figure the shit out. This is some good news coming. We'll also talk about CD Projekt Red's money woes. Some more Ubisoft news, and it doesn't involve their epic cover-up of ultra hostile work environment. It's going to talk about something that most people should not give a fuck about, but we're going to cover it. And finally, we'll go over unpopular opinions and, of course, some free topics. I myself am bringing the 5 things that I would like to see from Biomutant. It was going to be a 10 list, but they dropped a patch recently that took care of some of those issues, so I don't really need to. I could cut it in half. So without much ado, let's get into it. So shall we jump into Dragon Quest 35th anniversary announcements first?
Happy birthday, Dragon Quest. And sure.
All right, so recently Dragon Quest had its 35th anniversary, which just makes me feel old because I'm just as old as this franchise. As a matter of fact, I'm a little bit older than it is. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what they announced. So there's 3 big announcements that came to my mind from the 35th anniversary announcement. The big thing is, there's a few big things. First, apparently they're making a Dragon Quest X offline mode, like a demake, and hopefully they'll bring that over, because I always wanted to play Dragon Quest X, but it's only in Japan. It's a very text-heavy game, and fuck it, I'm not learning Japanese just to play a video game. I'm sorry. I know people who have done it. I am not one of those people. And before someone says some shit to me about it, look, I've done business in Japan. I have bought arcade machines from Japan, and if for money, if I won't even go in and buy and fucking spend money to if I won't learn Japanese for money purposes, and that's like money, I damn sure I'm not learning Japanese to play a RPG. You're crazy. All right, but anyway, so that was an announcement. They're bringing over the offline version of Dragon Quest X, which is a smart move. I don't know why Dragon Quest X was turned into a MMO. Like, I don't know who made that decision, but whoever it was, go fuck yourself.
They share this ring.
Being honest. Brutally honest.
Well, I mean, Can we keep it real?
I don't know why they do that.
I mean, was anyone excited when Final Fantasy XI was announced and they were like, yeah, and it's going to be an MMO? Like, did anyone who's a fan of Final Fantasy say, yes, I want to play a Final Fantasy MMO?
Say, this is going to turn out as well as Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, there is only one.
And was I right?
I mean, Final Fantasy 14, both Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14, when they first came out, were a fucking mess, and they had to be fixed. But I will say this much: from people, I haven't played Final Fantasy 14, but from people who I've seen who've stuck with it from the beginning, can tell you that after they destroyed the world and rebooted the game, it's much better. Here's the thing: I have no desire to play a traditionally single-player RPG in an MMO setting. Now, however, conversely, if there is one RPG-like franchise that I think would do well if you converted it into a straight-up MMO-style format, like as a spin-off or like an ascension of the franchise, Pokemon. Pokemon could work as a MMO. Like, it would be just like the games, except instead of a single-player experience, you're fighting other people with your Pokemon. That could work. That could totally work. But, I mean, that's a completely different can of fish than, especially when Pokemon is built around people fighting other Pokemon trainers. Like, it's all built around catching and fighting other Pokemon trainers. Whereas Final Fantasy, you're fighting like random monsters, you're going on quests, you're exploring. Like, it's all about how you kit out your party and your character and shit like that.
In short, it's PvE.
Yeah, it's PvE
versus PvP.
Yeah, it's PvE and mission based and side quest based and quest based versus Pokemon, which, I mean, let's keep it real. Pokemon's always had a very thin story, and it's all mostly about PvP and a little bit of PvE. Really, the whole point of the game is to defeat the Elite Four and become the champion for most of the games. You know, except for Black and White, where some other guy goes in, defeats the Elite Four, and then you have to fight him and defeat him, and then you become the champion. He's like, I'm going to free all the Pokemon by killing the Okay, that makes no sense. I know, right? But anyway, yes. So Dragon Quest, you know, what was once a online only experience with Dragon Quest X, which when it was announced, I was really excited about it. But good God, like now, like they're saying there's going to be an offline version. Hopefully they'll localize it and bring it over. That'd be good. They also announced Dragon Quest Treasure. What?
I said one could hope.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, because, you know, Square Enix gives too much. They give too much love to Final Fantasy, even though Final Fantasy kind of sucks these days. I mean, can anyone deny that Final Fantasy is sucks now?
Yeah,
Final
it's
Fantasy
not what it used to be.
has went all over the place. I'm being polite about it.
I mean, has anyone, like, what was the last good Final Fantasy you guys played? And I don't mean like it had to be great. I mean where you legitimately felt good playing it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
9 and 10.
I'm going to say 12. Even though technically speaking 12 is not a Final Fantasy game. It's a Final Fantasy Tactics RPG. But, you know, for naming conventions, Final Fantasy 12 is the last Final Fantasy I played where I was like, this is actually kind of fun. Every other Final Fantasy after that, 13, all three of those games, 15, I was like, this is, I mean, I will give it to Square Enix. Graphically, Final Fantasy has never looked better. But gameplay, characters, questing, story, shit. Absolute shit. Anyway, you know, Dragon Quest, I mean, really, it's like Square Enix puts all their eggs into the Final Fantasy basket, and I'm like, you have other shit. You have other properties, show some love to them too. So, you know, and plus, to be fair, I always thought Dragon Quest was a better made, mechanically franchise than Final Fantasy. So, you know, Dragon Quest, hopefully it'll be good. Dragon Quest 12, that was what they announced. Dragon Quest 12, they didn't really show any gameplay footage, but from what I've heard from, read from journalists who asked questions at that event, apparently they're going to change up the command system a little bit, and it's going to be built around player choice. So maybe this one will have less of the forced job archetypes, and maybe you'll have a class system where you create your own character class, your own party class makeup, which is a smart move because, I mean, to me, those are the better Dragon Quests. And it started with the third announcement they made that I thought was symbolic. They are doing an HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest III, which is the first game chronologically in the series, in the Loto trilogy. So, you know, technically speaking, you get the first game in the series, in the original trilogy of the franchise. So, and and for those of you who don't know what HD 2D is, Octopath Traveler HD 2D. So it's going to be Dragon Quest 3 with those types of graphics, and I'm okay with that. I will definitely get it on PC though, versus on a console, because Dragon Quest 3 is a little grindy. It's probably not going to be as bad as it was on the Game Boy Color or the NES, but oh, it's going to be hard. Thoughts, Kenoshi?
Yeah, I don't know why they maybe they could have created an MMO, but within the Dragon Quest world, but not call it Dragon Quest. You know.
What Dragon
not,
Quest
treasure?
Dragon Quest Treasure Hunters?
Yeah, or something like that.
I mean, when they first showed Treasure Hunter, I thought it was a Dragon Quest Monsters title, but apparently they're working on a Dragon Quest Monsters title, and this is something else. So they also showed some shit with like Dragon Quest Monsters turning into racers and erasing other enemies. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was like, that doesn't interest me. Since when is Dragon Quest Monsters for little kids?
Yeah.
Oh well.
If it was E for everyone, then you could see an interesting clash there.
Well, I mean, there are tons of games that are E for everyone that aren't for little kids. Like, I mean, technically speaking, Super Mario Brothers 2: The Lost Levels is E for everyone, but I wouldn't give that to a 5-year-old. unless you want to see your 5-year-old curse somebody out and throw the controller across the floor. This is some bullshit.
That'd be funny seeing a little 5-year-old just curse. It'd be so wrong, but it'd be so funny.
This is bullshit. And you know what? Normally I'd be like, yeah, that 5-year-old shouldn't be cursing, but Super Mario, The Lost Levels is just a FU game. It's the original Kuroshi Mario titles. Anyway, yeah, so Dragon Quest had its 35th. They announced some cool stuff and some stuff I really don't give a shit about, but I picked the 3 things that I thought would be interesting. Apparently, Microsoft, as an aside, going to a different company. Microsoft is going to have their own showcase for Bethesda titles and their own titles. It's rumored that they're going to show off Starfield and the new Fable game. Frankly speaking, I don't trust the new studio making a Fable game, because the people who are making the game were working on Forza, and if you've been making racing games, that's a completely different beast than an RPG, even an action RPG like Fable. So I don't trust it. Anyway, speaking of things I don't trust, CD Projekt Red Q1 net profits are down 65%, in part due to fixing Cyberpunk 2077. So, I mean, can't say I'm surprised. I mean, maybe if they had delayed that game another 6 months or a year, probably would have been a better, the game would have been better. But they just kind of they put something out in order to meet a deadline, and it turned out to be not as good as it should have and could have been. So now they got to go back and fix it. So that's the price you pay for shitting something out before it's time. That's all I can really say on that. So, anything else anyone else wants to say about it?
They should have waited. They should have waited.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, I don't really feel sorry. I mean, like, okay, I feel sorry for the employees, but I don't feel sorry for the higher ups who were like, yeah, we got to get this game out. It's like this game should have, you guys should have taken the hit and said we're going to delay this game out until next year, November next year. They would have had a better product, you know. And yeah, they would have taken a hit to their market share for not getting it out with the launch of the new consoles, but they would have had a better product. And I mean, you know, it's like Shigeru Miyamoto said, you know, if you delay a game, it can eventually be made good. But once you put out a bad game, it's always going to be remembered as being bad. Like, the only game that I've seen that has beaten that stigma is No Man's Sky, where when that game released, it was a meme about how bad it was. And now, you know, there are people who legitimately like that game. It's still not what Sean Murray and the people at Hello Games said it was going to be, but it's a damn sight better than what it was when it first released. But, you know, that's the exception to the rule. Now, before I count out CD Projekt Red, because I know some people are like, well, yeah, this is hilarious. People forget that they also released the original Witcher. And that game, when it first released, was a steaming pile of dog shit, too. Of course, CD Projekt Red was much smaller back then, and The Witcher is a much smaller game than Cyberpunk 2077. But, I mean, you know, if they still have that ethos, maybe they can turn it around. But it's going to take time. All I'm going to say is this. I'm glad I didn't buy any of the ultra premium bundles.
Deluxe editions.
Well, I got the early release, because CD Projekt Red always has really nice bennies, even with their base editions. They're like how Atlas used to be back in the day, where if you bought like the first run of anything from Atlas, it always came with like posters and music CDs and booklets and all types of little bennies. CD Projekt Red is like that with their shit. So even the base version came with a lot of cool shit, but they had like $400 version, and I was gonna get it because I actually like I said, I'm a huge fan of the tabletop game. Actually, I like there's like 4 tabletop games I'm a fan of. Well, 5. Vampire the Masquerade, D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder. I'm including Pathfinder, Starfinder, and Shadowrun and Cyberpunk. And those are the big ones. Like occasionally I'll do like generic user role-playing modules that are, you know, their own thing. But those are the ones I pretty much tend to stick to. So, you know, being a fan of Cyberpunk, I'm like, okay, surely this is going to be better. And it's just, for some reason, it's like, you know, I have a few issues with the game, but hopefully they'll fix those as time goes on. Do I regret my purchase? No, because I only spent $50 on it. But for people who spent, you know, hundreds of dollars or more than 100, like $200, $300, $400, or built a new computer rig to play this game, I feel your pain, bruh.
Oh yeah.
I feel your pain, or to quote Bill Clinton, I feel your pain.
You let's say you paid to build a rig. Not only did you pay to build a rig, you overpaid to build the rig because, you know, you were desperate and you wanted to get a nice GPU, but you had to pay 2-3 times the cost for it.
Because the price of GPUs has been going up. Because these fucking consoles have been... the new consoles came out and ate up all the market supply. All the silicone is going to the new shit being made.
Yeah, so you bought a console, or you didn't buy a console.
You bought the components to build a new PC, and everything was like the GPUs were overpriced, the CPUs were overpriced.
Yeah, and then you spent another, probably, say you really were really excited about this game, so you overpaid for like the special edition.
Yeah.
Stuff. So you paid like $70, $80, even $100, depending on the bundle. And then the game came out in this way. Oh, I bet you were mad as hell.
Yeah. You know. So, I mean, if you build... I mean, but the good thing about building a PC is that when you build a PC, you can always do other things with it besides just playing video games. You can make money off of it. I can't say the same thing if you're one of those people that bought a PS5 for this. Unless you're streaming on Twitch, you're not going to be making money off that shit. So that's the price you pay. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm amiss as to what to say about it. Anyone have any other thoughts about it before we move on to the next topic? Jewel?
If anything, I already know what I say about it, but I'll let it go.
All right. Okay then. So I guess my final thoughts is I hope they can turn things around. I hope they can I hope they can make it better than what it was. Now, to be fair, like I said, there is a history of CD Projekt Red making their games better over time. So, I'm not against it. So, I want, I don't root for companies to fail unless they're doing really fucked up shit like Ubisoft or EA. So, I want them to turn this game around because I do want people to enjoy this game. I do want people to get into the cyberpunk tabletop genre. I do want there to be other ambitious single player RPGs that do shit like this. And that can't happen if, when someone puts some money behind an IP, they just kind of half-ass it like CD Projekt Red did. So hopefully things will turn around and, they can fix it. Speaking of things turning around, Koch Media, which is the parent company of, they used to be, they call themselves THQ Nordic, but back in the day they called themselves, Silver something, forgot the name, but anyway, they're back. Here, let me look it up because I don't want to. And they're having an event where they're going to be announcing their new shit coming out, which I'm quite happy about. Yeah, they used to be Deep Silver. Yeah, they used to be Deep Silver, which, they're the ones who release such awesome games as Ride to Hell Retribution. And, and, but they're owned by Koch Media. And so, they essentially have three games that they hold IPs that people are kind of happy about, like Saints Row, which, if you're like me, you like that Saints Row basically scratches that Saints Row scratches that itch that you so wanted for GTA, but GTA doesn't do anymore because they take themselves too goddamn seriously. And Dead Island, which was kind of a semi-open world RPG, but with zombies, time splitters, a new Metro game, stuff like that. So they're having a gaming stream June 11th. That is Friday next week. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Yay, nay, yes, no, maybe so?
What games do they create?
Well, they hold the IPs for Saints Row, Dead Island, the Metro series, so like Metro 20 whatever, 2021, 2041, shit like that, 2035, Time Splitters and more. Like Koch Media holds a lot of here. Let me look it up. Koch Media. Koch Media. They also when they were Deep Silver, they also published some other shit. So recently, the shit that you may know them for from like the last 5 years. So let's say 2015 onward. Saints Row, Get Out of Hell, Risen. You know that really shitty um, RPG clone. They published Wasteland 2 Director's Cut from InXile Entertainment, which is now owned by Microsoft. Lost Horizon, Saints Row 4, Dead Island Definitive Edition. A lot of Dead Island. Like, they've been putting out a lot of Dead Island. They also published Mighty Number 9. They were the distributor for Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Persona 5. I'm guessing that's in Japan. I mean, I'm guessing that's in Europe. Agents of Mayhem. I mean, they've been putting out a lot of shit. Okay, that's all I'm saying. They've been putting out a whole bunch of shit. So, I mean, you know, recently, you know, this year alone, they've put out Gods Will Fall, Saints Row the Third Remastered, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Metro Exodus, Maneater. I mean, there's a lot of shit coming out.
Well, I mean, I like to see companies actually just say, screw it, we're just going to announce our stuff whenever we feel like it. We're not going to be bound to E3 or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I just
The
hope
only
more smaller
times I
companies
think
do that.
I was gonna say the only times that I think the big companies usually do this is around E3 and the holidays.
I mean, personally, this is just
which are usually choke points.
Personally, this is just my own personal opinion. I am tired of everything coming out in November and December. Like, spread your fucking games out, dudes. Like, you know, because here's the thing. I have money all year long. I want to play games all year long. I don't want to play the same shit for like 2-3 month blocks. So if these people spread their damn games out, I would be buying games all year long.
I was gonna say that usually they save the blockbusters for the November December block.
Yeah, but
that's usually annoying.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. There's like people have money all year long.
There's
if Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft or all these companies, if they release games, like just space them out. Like have some games, have some AAA games drop, you know, in spring, winter, fall. You know, save like, you know, your big shit, like 1 or 2 big shit for like the Christmas season, but have some shit throughout the rest of the year. Okay, not everything, because here's the thing, okay? I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in America, parents have so much money budgeted for Christmas, okay? It becomes okay, what can I get for the whole family? What can I get for just this one person? It becomes too much. But if you spread the shit throughout the year, you're going to be getting steady money all year long.
Yep.
Not every game needs to come out in November. That's all I'm saying. You know, there's other times of the years that you can purchase titles. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, yeah, so they're having their stream June 11th at 12 p.m. That's going to be Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. BST. I don't know what time that is. Brazilian Standard Time? I don't know. So maybe Belarusian Standard? I don't know. But anyway, some news where I don't think anyone gives a shit about. Watch Dogs Legion has a zombie mode coming out. Yay!
And I care as much as the zombie does.
Well,
take that as you will.
I mean, let me check my bag of shits. Oh, it's empty. No shits to give. I don't give a shit. On more news, Psychonauts 2 is coming out this year, and they showed some new gameplay footage off where you go inside some lady's head. And I'm really excited for this game.
Hopefully you keep your heart in check.
Well, I mean, you know, the first Psychonauts was really good. I didn't get Rhombus of Ruin because when it first came out, it was a PlayStation VR exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I have a PS4 Pro, I'm not getting VR. I don't need more shit strapped to my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's super. I think the price has gone down since, but it's still kind of expensive.
I mean, for me, it's not even the price. It's just that, like, I don't have the greatest eyesight, and I don't want more shit just in my face, you know?
Yeah, I use PSVR because I had a friend who had it, and like it's okay. I mean, it just feels a little disorienting. It's not something I would want to play. You know, if I'm playing an RPG, I don't want to sit down with one of those things strapped to my head. It's good for party games and stuff like that, but not for like long game sessions. I just couldn't do that.
Yeah. So for me, I'm just like, I mean, I'm not really into VR. And then when they brought it over to PC without the VR, I was like, I don't really want to play a Psychonauts spin-off. Like, I want to play Psychonauts 2. And now they're bringing out Psychonauts 2. So, you know, if I waited long enough, I knew we'd eventually get it. So there you go. Your wish is being granted, finally. And the more I see about Psychonauts 2, the better the shit looks every time. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, it's just, you know, it's one of those games that every time they show more of it, I'm like, this game looks better and better every goddamn time.
Yeah.
So here's some news for you guys. The former Shin Megami Tensei staff is working on a new RPG with a school setting. So, you know, that's cool. If you're into Shin Megami Tensei, which I've been playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne on PC, and it's pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. I mean, if there was a downside to the title, I would say there's a lot of things going on in the game that they don't tell you about. You just got to kind of figure out. Like, they don't tell you that you have to press the D-pad left or right to open up new commands in the command menu when you're fighting demons so that you can talk to them and recruit them to your party. What you need to do in order to fuse demons together in order to unlock new demonic forms and shit. And make your party more badass. They don't tell you that. You just got to kind of figure that shit out. You know, which continues the legacy of Shin Megami Tensei games not telling you a damn thing that you need to in order to
Say
make the game easier.
that that some games at least do give you guides, though they're not detailed. Some guides are over detailed, and some guides are, well, pirate maps.
It's like these people went
I
to
think
the
that's I think that's what Shin Megami Tensei is, right?
well, it's like the Shin Megami Tensei team went to the Platinum School of Game Development, where there's entire aspects of the game that they don't even tell you about and aren't in the fucking manual, which I hate.
Yeah, I guess that the Shin Megami Tensei series is kind of like a pirate's map,
Yeah,
inaccurate and barely has directions.
yeah, but a pirate's map does have details and directions so that the pirates can remember where the shit is. Shin
I
Megami
said
Tensei
barely any directions.
Shin Megami Tensei games have entire gameplay concepts that they don't tell you about. It's like, what? Wait, what? Like, I remember playing Shin Megami Tensei 1 on the SNES, aka Super Famicom, and I was playing a fan translation. And there's an entire thing where demons get stronger during a full moon. Like some demons get stronger during a full moon or a new moon. So like sometimes you're like outside and you're facing strong like way stronger demons than you normally would, and they don't even tell you that. Like you like it's not in the manual, and it's like no one tells you. Like you have to talk to some random NPC in some other area to find that shit out. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, surprise, surprise.
Basically, like,
Not
come
to be
on, man.
confused
Don't,
with surprise mechanics.
it's like, this is look. I mean, for a second, I feel like Doctor Evil from from Austin Powers. I'm the boss, folks. I need the info. I need to know these things. I'm the freaking boss. I need to know these things. I need to know these things. I need the info. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 3, been playing it, been enjoying it. I think it's a wonderful title. Is it the best in the series? I mean, like, here's what I'll tell you about Shin Megami Tensei 3. Shin Megami Tensei 3 is a direct sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 2. And Shin Megami Tensei 2, like, those games are really dark, and this game is also really dark. Graphically, like, in the first two Shin Megami Tensei games on the SNES, well, actually, there's three of them for the SNES. There's the first one, the second one, then there's, like, a remix for the second one, or What If the Demons Won? And Tokyo stayed demonified. It's kind of weird like that. But,
Mhm.
my point is that it's just a very um like there's a lot of gameplay features that they don't really tell you about, but it's carried over from the previous games. So if you played Mega 10 1, Mega 10 2, you'll pretty much get what's happening in this one. But if you haven't, there's a lot of exposition in the beginning of the game, and then they just throw you into the deep end. It's like, hey, surprise, surprise, there's some demons, go fight them. Anyway, I've been enjoying Megaten, and I mean, I got the deluxe edition that comes with all this extra shit, because why not? Because I got a good deal on it. So, we have one more topic left, which is the Biomutant thing. So, anyone have anything else they want to ask about Shin Megami Tensei before we move on to the next topic?
If anything, I am, I do worry that Shin Megami Tensei is going to get overshadowed by Persona again at at some point. But at least for now, I could say that, well, it's glad to see that they're moving on, that they have a new installment.
Well, Shin Megami Tensei 3 isn't a new installment. It's just a re-release of the game that was on the PS2. Apparently,
there's a new installment coming up with 4.
Atlas has been making a Shin Megami Tensei game. Shin Megami Tensei 5? Yeah, 5 coming to the Switch, but we haven't heard shit. We haven't heard shit about that game. Like, all they did was when the Switch was announced, they showed like a little trailer of some artwork, and that's all we've heard. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I was about to say there is a trailer, but I think that's a sparse trailer, and well, if they're gonna show more detail about 5 on E3, oh brother, I can hear that being swallowed up in the news.
I'd be cool with them showing new details about E3, about the new game. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm a Megaten fan, so.
Yeah. And I was guessing when we might get some kind of news.
Anyway, okay. Next little bit of news. I was gonna do a top 10 things I want to see in the next.
But there was an update, wasn't there?
Biomutant, yeah, from Biomutant, either in as a patch or an update, but they released a patch, so.
This is something that you want in future patches, if they ever do more. Right?
Well, I actually, these are more things that, like, these are mostly things that I would rather see in a sequel. But if they can patch it in or do, like, an expansion to the base game, I'd be cool with that, too. So here are the 5 things I want to see in the next Biomutant update or next Biomutant game. And here we go. Number 1, I would like to see more vehicle customization. Now, you can find various things to upgrade your vehicles, but what?
I was saying, there's a dope amount of vehicles that I got, right? From weird hands to paragliders to actually hovercrafts, I think.
Well, there's like 7, 8 vehicles in the game, but most of the customization with the vehicles is cosmetic. It doesn't really change the stats of your vehicle, which kind of sucks. Also, you get kind of like the equivalent to horses in the game, but they don't really go all that fast. They're kind of slow. And I didn't really like that.
Oof.
So yeah, I would like to see more, either in this game, like increase the speed of vehicles or mounts, or just in a sequel, have more customization. Let's see. I haven't beaten the game yet, but from what I've heard, in New Game Plus, you have to unlock all your skills and all of your vehicles all over again, which just kind of sucks. I just don't think that's cool. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Number 3 in the upcoming, I would like to see this patched in. I would like to see, right in Biomutant, like the base stat for your melee weapons is strength. The base stat for your armor is vitality, but there's no base stat for your guns. So basically, once you get a gun, like it does a certain amount of damage and that's it. And it kind of disincentivizes you to actually fight enemies, if you get what I'm saying, with guns until you get further into the game and get access to better weapons and better mods and components to make your weapons better, your guns. So I would like to see the damage that your guns do tied to a stat so that they do more damage as that stat goes up, like bonus damage or whatever. And I would tie it to either charisma or agility, just because that kind of makes sense. Something small like that. Let's see, that's number 3. Number 4, I want to see in a Biomutant sequel, I would like to see you go into the whole point about Biomutant is, like, there's this one safe space where the creatures, these little mutated creatures are living, but there's an area outside of that space called called Beyond the Great Divide, where your character came back from being out there. So I would like to see in a sequel or an expansion, you actually get to go to the Great Divide and see what's out there. I think that would be kind of cool. And my number 5 thing that I want to see either patched in or as an update is like the only way you can get all the tribal weapons in this game is by either conquering them or switching your alliances. Like if you end the tribal wars early, I don't think there's any way you can get those special tribal weapons, and some of them are actually pretty cool. So yeah, fix that. Anyway, those are my top 5. Any questions, thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
That with the guns, I have to wonder if you. I honestly wonder if you know how consistent guns are, since usually a gun is pretty consistent only if it's rapid fire or something like that.
Well, I mean, there's all types of gun mods, base gun specials, special stats that can change things. Like, there's a gun modification called momentum, where basically the more a gun shoots, the higher damage each bullet does. So if you have a rapid fire assault rifle and you just aim it at a character and you continuously shoot it, you can do a lot of damage. But I mean, like, that's a rarity. You're not guaranteed to get that item when you get that modification when you get new gun loot. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like little small things like that could really, little small additions to the game that could really add some depth to the encounter. But whatever. Anything else anyone else wants to talk about before we move on to the final topics? Kanoshi?
No. Nope.
All right. Okay, then. So here's a surprise topic that I was just looking for something to finish out before we got to unpopular opinion. And here we go. Donkey Kong Country, the best games in the series. Now, this list is, this is the subject of the writer's opinion. I'm going to vehemently disagree with the way he stacks it, but his number 5 game is Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. His number 4 game is Donkey Kong Country Returns. His number 3 game is Donkey Kong Country, the original. His number 2 game is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And his number one game is Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest.
To say, as much as I enjoy one of those, I mean the Tropical Freeze a little, I wouldn't say that would be near the upper half of that list.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I would switch this list around. I would say that the number one is Diddy Kong Country, Diddy Kong's Quest. Number two is the original Donkey Kong Country. Number three is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Number four is Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. And number five is Donkey Kong Country Returns, because that game is just not very good. I'm sorry, it's not. The new Tiki enemies suck. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, the new enemies in both of the retro games aren't very interesting to me.
Why am I not surprised? I could agree that the Gremlins are at least as entertaining with the Frost crew being second. Tiki's get to the back of that line.
Yeah, I thought the Tikis were stupid. I thought the idea behind the Tikis were stupid. I also don't like the fact that the new Donkey Kong games make Donkey Kong seem like he's a fucking idiot.
You honestly think Donkey Kong is a lot smarter?
Well, I mean, like the whole point behind behind the retro Donkey Kong games is that Donkey Kong is an idiot. But here's the thing. Donkey Kong in previous games could use tools, he could use guns, he built his treehouse, he knows how to use a boombox and like put shit together. Like, that's not a dumb creature. like I get they were doing it. They needed some reason for Donkey Kong to be immune to the Tiki's mind control, so they just made him really fucking stupid. But that's such a character assassination of the character. I mean, think about all the shit Donkey Kong does in all the other games that aren't made by Retro.
I don't know. I still think those games are fun.
I didn't say they weren't fun. I'm saying that they aren't as good as the original trilogy.
I mean, yeah, though, I was gonna say that even with, I mean, sure that DK is not the brightest, but they really pulled him down a little when it came to the return games.
I mean, like, let me put it this way, okay? In the original trilogy, in the original Donkey Kong can use a fucking boombox, right? Because in the opening of the thing, he's got a fucking boombox and he breaks his dad's photograph, and his dad fucking throws the TNT barrel and fucks his shit up.
That's what I was saying.
It's implied if you read
he's not dumb, but he's not.
If you read the Nintendo comics that came out hyping up Donkey Kong Country, the motherfucker built that treehouse himself, relatively well constructed. I'm like, that's not a creature that can do shit like that is not dumb. But I get for story purposes, they were like, we're gonna make this gorilla stupid. Okay, I get it, but I didn't like the character assassination. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That he isn't dumb. He's not the brightest, but he's not dumb.
No, what makes him not bright? I mean, can you build a treehouse?
I was saying that as in there's other family members that are smarter than Donkey Kong.
Well, yeah, there's Cranky Kong, who in the Donkey Kong 64, the motherfucker is a professor. His mom runs the Kong College, Wrinkly Kong. You know,
Um,
Funky's making fucking jets out of barrels. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's not like making jets out of barrels, but I mean, hell, yeah, anyone can make a, well, not anyone, but yeah, Funky made a jet out of a barrel, but Donkey Kong's flying the shit. I mean, you can't be an idiot and know how to fly an airplane. I mean, you
yeah,
can
that's
be
that's what
notoriously
I was saying. That
high.
I know DK. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That Donkey Kong's not stupid. It's just that he's not the brightest of the bunch. Since there's so many others that could do a lot more. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Um. So anyway, yeah. You know, and then the other games, Donkey Kong is doing some amazing shit. Uh. And then in Donkey Kong 64, we don't have to talk about all the puzzles and shit that you had to solve as Donkey Kong in that game. And then, they resurrect it and they're like, well, these tikis are taking control of all these creatures. But they didn't work on Donkey Kong because he's a fucking idiot. It's like, I mean, it's just really lazy. Because they could have done some shit like Donkey Kong is so enamored with eating a banana that with his
That he's not
bananas
paying
that hypnosis doesn't work
attention.
on him because he's already hypnotized by the bananas. That could have worked, or he could have been looking at a picture of Candy Kong or some shit. I don't know. But why character assassinate the character with, oh, he's a fucking idiot? I'm like, that's just kind of offensive to me. But anyway, yeah, that's my list. Do you guys agree with that list of Donkey Kong Country ranking with the series? You think that?
I agree with you that some of those rankings need to be changed. The if anything, I would at least say that the that the that Dixie Kong's triple trouble probably would be the last on my list, with the newer two being at the fourth and third.
Yeah, personally, the thing is that I really don't put any of the new games above any of the old games, in my opinion. Kenoshi, any thoughts?
Nah, nah. I like the game. I like the games. I mean, some of the I played some of the older games, but I'm not staunchly against the. I think the new games are just as decent, but no, not everybody shares that opinion. That's fine.
I mean, look, I'm not saying that the retro games aren't fun. There's tons of games I've played that are fun, but I'm not gonna say, oh, this is better than the original. Like I think that the new Street Fighter games, they're fun. I don't enjoy them as much as Street Fighter 2 or 3 or Alpha 2.
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's fun. It's not as good as Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or 2, but it's fun. It's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The people that I've talked to who like that game say it's fun. I've played a little bit of it, and it's okay. It's not terrible. There are very few games that are part of a series where it's like such a precipitous drop in quality where I'm like, fuck this. But it's just not, it's not up to the standards of the old shit. It's not like the Disney Star Wars compared to the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Anyway, yeah, that's I'm not saying that that and before someone says, "Oh, you're just looking at those games through nostalgia goggles." No, I own all of those. I own every single Donkey Kong Country game in existence. Okay, all three SNES games, both of the retro games, and Donkey Kong Country 64. I've played them back to back, and I'm just saying, the retro games are good. They aren't as good as the rare games. But then again, Retro is a good company. They aren't as good as Rare during their golden age. I'm sorry, they aren't. Okay? Anyway, I guess we can move on to the final topic, which is unpopular opinion. So, anyone have any unpopular opinions they want to get off their chest?
A game does not have to make you break your controller or rage out at it in order to be a fun game. And this is to people that are saying that we should have more Dark Soul games or controller breaker games like Kid Icarus Uprising.
All right. You want to go any further, or you just want to kind of stick with that?
I'm gonna be. I'll try to get into it a little bit more for this one. Um, if anything, I know that some games are trying to be accessible to everyone, and and there's those slough of people that say that we need to have harder games in order to be sure that our game is not in order to say that our gaming hobby is not being watered down. And I could get that a little bit, but if if we have games that are so tough that they make you rage quit or break your controller, or so or are so controller intensive that it breaks your controller because of such harsh movements, I think we don't need more of those for a while.
So you don't need to get frustrated while playing video games. Yeah, that's kind of the big issue with a lot of games, is that people get frustrated while playing the game. Um,
Yeah, I mean the only time I think that you're allowed to get a little bit frustrated in a sense is if you're in a competition game
yeah, but even then, that's not
because
because the game is hard. That's because you're playing someone who's kicking your ass.
I was gonna say either they're kicking your end or you have bad teammates
Yeah, but typically
depending
speaking,
on your game.
if you're playing a competition game, you're not playing it with teammates. It's going to be you versus someone over there. Like I don't. I think even in Smash tournaments there aren't team play. It's all free for all.
I say it depends on the game because there's games like the fighting games, uh, and others like what you're putting out, and then you got those team-based games like Splatoon, Overwatch, um, what was it? Oh yeah, Heroes of the Storm, back those games.
All right. So games where other people are playing, they can get in the way of your shit, even if you guys aren't uh, completely out of it.
Yeah, the as in those are the those that's one kind of competition, and the other kind of competition is just you versus one opponent in a sense. So I think that covers it.
All right. So, um, I guess I should give my opinion. Here's my opinion. My unpopular opinion. I think that casual gamers are destroying, well, not destroying, but they're definitely diluting and hurting the hobby of playing video games. Um, I know some people are going to get angry when they hear that, but it's my
Yeah,
opinion.
this is kind of the opposite direction of my topic, isn't it?
Not really, no. Not for the reason you might think. Not for the reason you might think. The reason I say that casuals are hurting our hobby is because casual gamers don't really give a shit about the overall quality of a game. As long as it scratches that itch, they're happy. Casual Pokemon fans got Sword and Shield because it's had Pokemon in the title. They didn't care that it was missing major features that had been part of the franchise for years. They just wanted a Pokemon game on the Switch. Casual fans can be given mediocre games and they're okay with it because as long as it has some of the aesthetics of what they want, they're happy with it. More hardcore fans who understand more of the franchise are like, wait a second, they look at it like this shit's missing a whole bunch of shit. This is not what I wanted, and they hold people accountable. But when you have more casuals than hardcore fans, these companies begin to cater more to the casual fans, and you get more watered down gaming experiences. I'm not saying that that's not necessarily always a bad thing, but for more hardcore franchises where they kind of are built around a hardcore premise, it's not good. You see that with stuff like I said, you look at something like Pokemon, where like Pokemon Sword and Shield, there's major shit that in previous installments was included with the base game, completely missing in that game, or taken out to be sold after the fact. And I mean, if you're a hardcore Pokemon fan, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But if you're a casual, you don't fucking care, because as long as you get to catch your Pikachu and walk around and go into the tall grass and catch this and fight your little battles, you're happy. So this is a case where casuals are fucking up the franchise. Nintendo with the Wii back in the day, where people bought the Wii and they were happy with Wii Party and one or two party games, Boom Block shit like that. But when it came to the more hardcore shit, they didn't give a shit. So like the only games that really sold well were the more casual titles. And so you had a point where Nintendo was getting kind of complacent during the Wii era. And you're seeing it now with the Switch, where they're getting kind of complacent with the Switch. So, it's like casuals breed a level of complacency and like them starting to rest on their laurels a little bit. And I don't think that's not good for gamers. That's not good for the company. Because if you don't know how to scramble when you need to scramble, when shit gets rough, you're in a strain. You can hit a brick wall, you don't know what's going on. So hopefully, things will turn around. We'll get some more hardcore experiences, and they won't get so
watered.
They won't get so complacent and rest so much on their fucking laurels. But that's my own personal opinion, and it's an unpopular one, so I went with it. Anyway, anyone else have anything else they want to say before we wrap things up? Kanoshi, you have an unpopular opinion you want to share?
No, not particularly, but I did see something interesting last night. I actually thought it was kind of funny.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, apparently, that Power Rangers game, apparently they had a guest character, Chun-Li, as a Power Ranger, which I didn't. Is that game made by Capcom, or is it?
I think it was Bandai.
Was it made by? Was Bandai that made it?
I guess.
I
I don't
found
know.
it kind.
I didn't watch it.
No, I just found it kind of funny because I was thinking about just having a weird crossover between Power Rangers going after Shadowloo.
That would be cool. Or even better if they did like a one shot. If they did like a one shot manga where Zordon, instead of finding teenagers with attitudes, he gets people who really can fight, and he gets like the Red Ranger is Ryu. No, the Red Ranger is Ken. The White Ranger is Ryu. The Yellow Ranger is Chun Li. The Pink Ranger is Cammy. The Black Ranger is DJ. And the Blue Ranger is who would be a good Blue Ranger? It's got to be someone who's kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
They don't really have nerdy characters in Street Fighter. Everyone's kicking everyone's ass. We'll make it Dalzim. And then their villain is like a Lord Zed M. Bison.
Actually, the Blue Ranger would be Rashid because he's.
I'm going with Street Fighter 2 because I don't give a fuck about those characters after Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
I give no shits about anyone after. If you're not from Street Fighter 2, I just don't really give a fuck about you. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really bad. I kind of can care if you're from Street Fighter 3 or Alpha, but after that, I'm just like, I don't care. Anyway, yeah, that'd be kind of fun. They did like a manga where it's a one-shot manga where they just, people who can actually fighting in, Power Rangers. It's morphin' time. I'd watch that. That'd be better than the Power Rangers we got.
Yeah.
It's morphin' time. Why are you talking like that? I always talk like that. Anyway, Power Rangers is awesome. Or at least, it's fun.
Yeah.
I watched a thing talking about, they were talking about the history of VR Troopers. How it was kind of like designed to be the next Power Rangers, except it was darker than Power Rangers. It had 96 episodes, though.
Hey, it was kind of linked into the same timeline as Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Kind of, sort of. From what I saw from the guy, they took like 3 shows that only had one character, and then they spliced them together to make that show, which is why you never saw the 3 characters together, like almost ever in the first 20, 30 episodes, because they were splicing together shows that these characters never really appeared together at all. It was kind of like a Die Rager, Shoe Rager, and still Galvan. It's like, come on, man. But whatever. They had a cool theme song though. VR Troopers, cool theme song. And the villain was actually kind of threatening too. Like Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa was like, you're kind of a joke. But that motherfucker from VR Troopers was like, this dude is kind of creepy. It's like the difference between Saturday morning cartoon Dr. Robotnik and weekday morning cartoon Dr. Robotnik. Like weekday morning cartoon Dr. Robotnik was like a joke. Saturday morning cartoon Robotnik was legit threatening. It was like, damn, this dude might kill somebody. He did kill somebody. And he's okay with that. It's like, damn, I'm terrified. Anyway, anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up? Anything? Any announcements? Anything you want to pimp out? Any upcoming projects? Nothing.
Hmm.
No.
All right. Before
Minus
we,
the E3 that we're plotting, I think we got nothing else.
yeah. So before we go any further, I'm just gonna plug one of my new favorite drink. Normally I like rum and coke, but I'm trying to stay away from coke. Not cocaine, Coca Cola. So I've been really enjoying gin sodas. Um, you take a splash of gin on the rocks with some good high quality soda water or a sparkling carbonated water, and it's really good. And it's like an adult soda, except it's not sweet. And if you really enjoy carbonation and that crisp, cool feeling, it's great. So there you go, folks. Gin soda's delicious. Uh, so that's the end of this video, this podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Um, and well, Jules napping. Hype responsibly. Good night.
Night.